We try to just...
Oh, there we go. We're back.
Welcome to Bitmonkey TV, episode number 8. My name is Marcelo.
Scott Barrero.
And we have a special guest.
I am the homeless, greasy person they dragged off the street. I'm a van dweller. My name's Ben.
He's also our hairstylist, if you can't tell. Well, it's hidden under here, but look at
look at the light glowing behind him. It's perfect, this backdrop.
Especially angelic today.
All right. So this is a different episode, as you can tell. We have
Impromptu.
3 people here now.
Yeah.
Just kind of winging it all, as always. But today, we do have a special guest. We have Ben here, who's going to kind of chime in. I think Marcelo will probably do more interview style in a little bit, but
We're going to do a collaborative approach here.
There you go, yeah.
Because the ideas we get from that are just out of this
Oh,
world.
you know what I forgot?
Yeah.
Before we... Actually, this is for our own
coach me
thing.
on how
Just
to...
look at the camera. We usually have a smiley face there.
I'll go grab that.
Yeah, might as well. All right, give us a second, guys.
Yeah, hopefully Marcelo and I didn't, gas out all the conversation that's to be had, because we just had, a full podcast
honestly,
conversation
right before
before.
this.
We should have been recording
The whole time we should have been recording.
I was telling them to just save it for the show, but, it just happens organically. So when you look there, it's just much more personal. As to, we found that when we first started this show, we were actually turned this way talking to each other, and it just didn't have that same effect, really. So once we turned this way...
This is good.
There we go. There's our guy.
I wish they could see.
That's our audience. Don't shake camera too much.
Long gone. I think I threw it away.
Have you ever introduced the audience? You should hype up that there's this smiley face character that's there.
Ooh, you know what?
We'll sell our smiley guys in NFT someday.
Introduce them.
We can do that. We can do that. We can also have Dustin do something fun.
Yeah, maybe that would be fun.
One of one.
He could draw a little audience or something.
Yeah.
Let's watch our pretend audience. All right.
That'll be the start of our own emojis. Well, welcome.
Welcome.
Topic for today. What
utility.
Would you like to talk about?
I think what the overall topic for today should be utility and how we use NFTs, crypto, whatever, to bring real world effects. But you can go wherever you want. Obviously, we've got Marcelo on the show. He goes off.
My contribution to that topic will be limited.
That's me.
Me too.
All
I'm
day.
a novice in the
That's
space,
me
so
all
we're all
day.
just learning here. One thing, actually, before we jump kind of straight into that, I just kind of wanted to stuff off the top of the brain. There's cars outside. Give us a second. Oh yeah.
You should do this before.
I forgot a few
Yeah.
things, guys.
My bad.
Standard. It's standard.
Raw. It's live.
Yeah, our viewers should know this by now. It's not going to be perfect every time, and that's what makes it fun. You never know what you're going to get on the show.
That's what makes it magical.
Yeah. So anyway, I was talking about, because a lot of stuff has kind of happened. I'm really probably too much into the Twitterverse of things, and there's been a lot of drama, and there's been the Yetis have essentially died. People are
they died
wondering.
already?
That's what some people are saying, and they're in some circles they're going to have burn parties.
Oh, no way! Is it already?
I don't know. I don't know if it's gone quite that far, but that's sort of what I've heard. But there's a lot of drama going on. The whole what is it?
Yeah.
Art chick, the NFT art chick that I was telling you about. The drama. Well, there was something with the skeleton avatars that were just released recently.
Yeah.
And she was sort of trying to leverage her audience or platform to get it at a cheaper price or something like that, and it was kind of shaking up the community a bit.
Ooh.
Yeah. And there's all this crazy stuff.
Yeah,
People
I'm out of
buying,
that loop.
Yeah, people buying pickles and everything.
Dude,
that already
pickles look kind of funny, I will say.
It's a meme.
Incorporating it. Is it?
Do you know about the pickles?
No, I'm here representing anyone else in the audience
Got
who
it.
has
Okay.
no idea
Okay.
what's going on.
I still have a very
So-
loose grasp on the pickles. It is an NFT project that they release X amount of pickles. There's one golden pickle, and that's it. That's all I know as far as everything.
I don't know much, but I know I want that golden pickle.
The joke was supposed to be...
What's the economics behind that pickle?
The joke, the whole meme factor was that at some point there was going to be a rug. It was guaranteed that people got into it for the rug pool. It's a very weird NFT meme space type kind of thing.
Interesting.
And so everyone hyped it, and now it's 10x.
Yeah. It shows the power of community, though.
Yeah, no, it
shows
definitely
the power
does.
of community when everybody gets behind a project, no matter the economics behind it, right?
Look at our smiley guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's our audience.
I know, but
Dude, he's loving this right now. You got to give it to him.
Yeah, but you're talking to me. I got to answer to you, not to the fucking paper.
I'm that guy too. That's all of us.
Take some cues. So, like, you source most of your news from Twitter about what's happening within the NFT.
I wouldn't say that like most of. I guess. I mean, honestly, I learned from all the internet sites that I kind of go to, but Twitter is just it's easy to be loud on there, I think, and you can kind of shout out some piece of knowledge that you have that's contrary to the standard norm or whatever, shake things up, and you kind of get attention. It's a weird place where the NFT influencers are kind of
Twitter's
a
tricky space to navigate right now. I think I just think it's a tricky space to navigate, and like Gary has been preaching.
Yeah,
we've already seen it.
Yeah.
There's the market's full of, it's oversaturated, which is so many projects.
Right.
And figuring out which ones are going to be the one to like break through this winter that's coming, that I'm sure everybody is noticing this morning when they woke up.
How about our audience?
Let me look at this.
Well, like, I think a huge part of like
just repetitive nature. Just keep telling me.
Eventually, it'll be like that.
We'll give you a cue or something. We need to have like a director behind the camera. But I think like a lot of
Mike's
my
like in ear
introducing myself to you guys and your audience is going to be kind of just unfolding all the layers of my ignorance to whatever the topic is.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, I made one like 8 years ago and never touched it.
Yeah.
Same here.
I didn't open it until... So this is how Marcelo and I met on the Gary V Friends project. And, he offered many prompts to get engaged with the community. And one of them was Twitter. Like, even the Discord. Mm-hmm. At the very beginning, I'm like, dude, I don't want to download another app. I don't want another thing, like, taking my time.
Yeah.
So this is my relationship with social media going into it. But I get in the Discord. He says, get a Twitter. I'm, God damn it. I log into my Twitter for the first time in 8 years.
Yeah.
And now I'm on Twitter, but like I haven't started participating in the conversations.
I think it's a bit hard starting out, especially even myself. Like I think I've been fortunate because of my Instagram presence. It sort of has trickled over enough that I feel like I sort of have an audience, and I'm still like I think I have like 4,000, maybe 5,000 followers on Twitter, and I've been really inactive. So for me to kind of come there and start speaking up again, it feels I feel out of place. Mm-hmm. Like, where's this guy been? Why is he just being loud on Twitter all of a sudden? Mm-hmm. And so I think for me, figuring out the Twitter space is sort of like the best way I can explain Twitter is it's just you can find a community there. And it's all through words. Like with Instagram, everyone kind of posts and you have to go through all their photos. On Twitter, it's a way to make a name for yourself or, have an opinion that people maybe resonate around the internet world about. And sometimes people, Twitter can be a real like degenerate place too. You can get away with a lot of stuff there,
just like any platform
that you wouldn't normally say on another platform. Though
that's why it's interesting to hear your perspective on what you've heard. Yeah. So I haven't heard like anything similar. The Yetis, I haven't heard they're dead. But I
don't think it's necessarily dead. It's just it's looking like a failed project.
Yeah, I get that perspective though, but I haven't seen that, right? What I've seen though is what we were talking about earlier off air. Is who's that face? Mm-hmm. Like we get it. There's a lot of brilliant. There's a lot of brilliant people behind the project, but who's really involved in the community? Who's really putting their face to the project? Putting every actually licensing a business behind it, things like that. Like,
right. So
I think they did license a business behind it. I'm not sure, I don't want to say they didn't. But
to that effect, a lot of them are anonymous. Though. A lot of the big projects are pretty anonymous. Yeah. Like you them by their social handles, but you don't really know them. Yeah.
There's very few projects that are actually back. Shout out to Punk's Comic. Their tokenomics are pretty awesome. They inspired.
Yeah. Shout out Chris Wall.
Yeah.
Thanks for the follow, bro.
As far as Yetis go, it's an NFT project that I'm not personally involved in, but as I was sharing with you earlier, was talking to a person who has really diversified his involvement into various NFT projects, just as trying to learn the ecosystem. And so my question to him was like, what distinctions do you see between like the Yetis and V-Friends, for example, in terms of like, use case, the community, so on and so forth. And as we were discussing the matter of like what kind of relationship does the community at large, those who are investing in the art or the potential, what is their relationship with the developers, the people who masterminded the whole thing? And I don't know how much of that correlates to some of the outcry that I've heard is happening within the community.
Well, I don't think it's that. Like, the community seems still strong, but the thing is that they executed it poorly. Whether that's they had some issues with like the traits or whatever. Some of them were really, really poor quality. Like, you could tell the resolution compared to other things, like fur.
Oh, like the thumbnail quality.
The quality, the actual image quality was not up to par.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like how clean the Punks.
So they didn't start with like a 3,000 by 3,000 pixel.
They must not have. The fur looked
canvas
really weird and noisy and stuff. It just wasn't not up to the standards I think that were set before it. Mm-hmm. And then they had issues with the rarity traits where people could actually access the data before the Yetis were actually revealed to know your traits and their rarity. And so they were fishing sort of for the right ones.
So here's my question to you guys: like, what is the intention from most of, like, because all the things that you're describing, what I'm hearing are like pretty superficial characteristics.
Yeah.
Like, what is, because I've heard that there's a whole world and universe and gameplay that's going to be
incorporated somehow.
So I mean, are people obsessing over these superficial?
I think at this point, yes.
And
In the short term, yes. And no one knows really what's going to happen in the long term.
Yeah.
That's time will tell. What actually, how it unveils, because it's only been like a month, if that, since they were released.
Right.
So, I think it's all like kind of initial feelings, because people were excited about the art at first, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know the general tokenomics. I don't know what's actually like the utility of buying a Yeti. I don't know if it's just to literally, here's your avatar, have fun.
There may be further.
Maybe there is. I haven't actually done my research, so I can't.
Utility behind it, like in the metaverse, right?
There's probably some sort of
maybe
community
creating
aspect.
their own Yeti world over time. I'm
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
certain things like that. I would hope that the developers and the people involved in the
I'm
project
sure that they haven't
expand
given up,
on that, right? But it's too soon to tell.
But like what?
Right.
I just wonder what. First of all, I have no first-person lens into what is occurring within the community. I've heard about some of the negativity and backlash, but I'm just curious what the initial expectations were. Like, is it to immediately like flip, or to see some sort of monetary return, or to see? It's almost like an IPO,
So we
right?
don't really know, right?
Kinda.
Like their intentions behind the project. Is that what you were asking? Their intentions behind the project, or trying to dissect?
I'm hearing the backlash, and I'm just like questioning, like, well, like there's this reaction that's happening so early in the game.
Yeah.
If there is a long-term play that the Yetis are making, what is the source of that outrage? Is it just something superficial? Like, why did you invest
at this
to begin
point?
with?
Yes. And most people are just kind of like aping into avatar projects right now. The hottest thing is to have a cool-looking avatar on Twitter.
Is aping a verb?
Oh, that's a verb.
That's
yeah.
Is that a verb?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna learn
aping, just
the
throwing,
language.
throwing all your Ethereum into a project and going wild. Full, like almost like blind. It's a blind trust.
Did that
you
come
think
from the Bored Ape?
I think it actually existed before the Bored Ape.
Okay.
I think aping was a thing. Maybe it came from that.
Bored Ape? Why are we talking about wine? Oh, Bored Ape.
No, the Bored
I
Ape.
thought you were talking about a
Bored Ape.
Bordeaux.
No. And
But I just pronounced it
I'm not
Bored
sure.
Ape.
I'm not sure where that came from. I've seen it on Twitter, and maybe I'm using it wrong. I assume I'm using it correctly, and it's kind of like an all-in sort of thing.
So I think
Blind faith in a project.
From the developer's stance, I don't know enough about it, but aping into a project is kind of like what you're saying, sifting through the contract data and aping into your project in that form. Like I was talking about with what Punk's comic did, which was clever. There's some people who aped into the project. They had their release day, but they essentially had it on the button you couldn't mint. They were doing their first Genesis mint, and then after that they would open up the doors. Well, people tried to ape in and mint their own through, I don't know how they do it, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn very soon because it's right up my alley. I should take the time.
Okay, so I have like two opposite definitions of.
I think
aping into something.
Marcelo's coming up with his own
they
definition
rewarded
right now.
those people.
So whatever you're hearing, I think is his own.
Not only do they
Jamie, can you look into the semantics of?
I bet you if we Urban
wish we
Dictionary
did,
it,
Jamie.
aping, it would be like an all-in. Like you're just taking take all my money.
Blind,
I think it's blind faith because
Yeah.
you're talking about actually doing any sort of research. I don't think it's any sort of research.
Because they rewarded, like, I don't know if it was like 13 or 20 people with these unique one-of-ones for trying to ape into the project before they actually were allowing you to mint. They tried to mint. I don't know if they were doing it in their own test net, right? And then went live. Like, I'm still learning.
You're just saying, like, people were trying to get early access. Yes. And they were trying to be the first ones.
They noted down the wallet addresses, gave the ETH back, right? And then also gifted them a one-of-one for trying to ape into the project. And it's this really cool looking ape with this, the beanie, spinner cap. And it has these things that it looks like it's a Frankenstein. And it's like injecting back, or it's like injecting into their brain from something.
Well, let's circle back on that in a future podcast. Sorry. So it's probably super boring.
So shout out. That was just so cool.
Guys.
I should probably learn more about it. But once I successfully do it on a couple of projects in the future, I will have we'll go into detail on a Tech Tip Tuesday, which we're going to do very soon. Yeah. We're going to do some solos where I take care of Tuesday, he takes care of Thursday.
Yeah.
And since we only do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Oh yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Smiley face. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for reminding me.
Hi audience. Welcome back.
See, this is why I like that round table feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having a round table.
We can eventually have multiple cameras that are easy for us to talk to.
So,
I'll have one right here and I'll be like, welcome back to.
So
do fun cuts.
I know we're very good at doing rants, so thanks for bearing with us, viewers.
Are we taking for granted that the audience just like knows who I am, or am I just
talk about yourself a bit. Take the soapbox or whatever. Stand up and shout about yourself.
Yeah. So
what are you about?
Let's give you the floor. I want to hear what's on your mind. Like what?
Well, right now I'm thinking about that interview question that everyone hates, or just like you're on a date and someone's like, "Oh, tell me about yourself."
Oh yeah, the general.
Okay. I know. Let's try
to narrow it down. Okay, so what is the project that you're most excited about currently?
That's funny.
The project that I'm most excited about and why. So
I know you're heavily involved with VFriends, and that may be the answer.
Yeah, and
that's all good. But if there's anything else, anything.
VFriends is a very interesting space. I'm gonna say the project that I'm most excited about is my own. I think which is just for the first time in my life, I'm starting to exercise and explore my own creative instincts.
Yeah.
I don't know how much everyone here can relate, but I think I suppressed and abjected those things to other ideas of what I needed to do, like financially, career-based and stuff like that, and found myself not feeling anywhere. But I knew that, and this is what's so exciting about being on. Is your
project NFT based?
It's not. It's just digital content.
Okay,
digital
cool.
content.
Nice.
I'd love to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And so I've been talking with people like you guys, and within the VFriends community, it's just been an amazing network to start to cultivate those skills and just form an idea to launch this thing. But so personal branding, digital content, these are all things I have no experience in whatsoever. No background in videography, photography, storytelling, all things, but I want to go through that journey and on these other sides.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
You'll learn a lot.
I feel like we have one of the best teachers too. Gary V, shout out. Gary. Hey, I'm going to take this moment to just do a quick detour. Episode number 55, we'd love to have you on. Have your people reach out to my people, which is just really me.
Yeah.
So, and Scott.
Yeah.
Or Ben here.
Feel free to reach out to us
I'm
directly.
officially people.
I have a feeling
I
have a feeling he'll be back on the West Coast, right?
I will be
doing,
for sure.
So, but we'll make sure to also in the future, when you launch that podcast, I'll make a mental note to actually go in back to this video and add little blurbs for anybody who watches this in the future to then pop over to that podcast once it's live. So I'm looking forward to it.
So what are some of your ideas?
Sounded to me
for
like you
your
just
podcast?
offered me a job, is what that sounded like.
No,
I'm your people.
You're my people. It's a terminology I use. It's a terminology I use.
Well, you're on record.
I know, right? You're on record.
I'm hands off on that one. That's all him. That's his business venture.
What was your question, dude?
Just funny. What would you like to cover with your podcast, or this adventure that you're going to go on in creativity and art?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think you recently you said you had Jeremy on this
episode number 5.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I was just talking to that same gentleman. We connected on a lot of different levels. He has a podcast called Jeremy Knows, which you should definitely check out.
On Spotify, all platforms, right?
Yeah. Jeremy Knows. Just an extraordinary human being.
He
Really
is
is.
active.
Really
that guy,
Yeah,
his work
he's
ethic is
executing.
insane.
He's
Yeah.
executing.
Like,
I think
wow.
it was Friday. I was watching. I tried to tune into every live. He was back to back to back to back for like 3, 4. I don't know if I'm over exaggerating.
Yeah.
5 hours, and Scott was in the background like, "Holy
I just
shit,
could not
Jeremy's
believe,
still
like,
on!" Like
His
wow.
stamina to talk and get his ideas out there is just insane.
Yeah, it's really awesome, man. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, I'll have to reconnect with him again to like break down some of his approach. But so I just bouncing off of like the Jeremy Knows identity. I was even saying to him like the contrast to that for me would be like Ben doesn't know. Ben has no fucking clue.
Yeah,
that's great.
So like it's just coming from a premise of like
It's
I'm
a great title.
We'll see.
How about Scott and Marcelo don't know? Because that's us learning here.
Hey,
That,
trial and error.
Yeah,
We'll be
that's
your,
the thing,
we'll be your
though.
guests. Come on. Hey, this guy doesn't know either.
Is this mic on? Just yelling to it
just
like an old-
examining all the things that we have no idea
Yeah.
about. I'm like in the stage of life where I'm fully committed to exploring as much as I can, taste testing, figuring out things that I love, acquiring new skills, and entering the marketplace of ideas. So like the premise, especially early on, is going to be like I think if it ends up niching into a specific topic or theme, that's going to come down the road after putting repetitions in. But I want to like explore myself, do a lot of self-reflection, and open that up to the public. I want to have guests on. I was talking to you earlier about separating, having a daily download commitment, which is just kind of like hot garbage, and spilling that, like just giving myself permission to say, something raw and on my mind, and maybe occasionally I'll land on something poignant that I can clip later. And then also getting into long form, because like this is my jam. When I look at the full digital content creation space, the thing that excites me is podcasting, because it's something that I know I would love doing regardless of where it goes in terms of monetization or any outcomes or networking. Like I would have this conversation with you in private and love to do it.
Right before this,
Right,
before we even started recording.
There was a lot of golden nuggets in there.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we'll recreate that in future talks, and this talk as well. But man, it just goes to show, always fucking record. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're having a conversation. Because what's funny is we have some on the GoPro that day I showed him the white paper. Sorry to get off track here.
No.
But he starts recording. He sets it up so we can like check out the view, and we start talking. And we start like there was some gold in there. I haven't rewatched it yet. I'm like, fuck! I wish we were recording. This always happens. And he's like, "Ha, joke's on you. I was recording that whole time." And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" So
beautiful.
So we have our first interaction about this project.
After I think it was like a couple hours in, we were like, "Oh, let's check that out," and then put it on.
Yeah.
So it didn't capture the whole day, but it got a good portion of it. So, but man.
So when you're starting yours, are you gonna go full blown?
Are you gonna do like
everything? Or are you gonna go
a
Gary
camera
Vee with the
filming
phone?
you doing everything?
I'm a little offended, but like I shouldn't be, because
wait, what?
You haven't seen my van. Like
because you're gonna do that in your van. Huh?
We gotta go check that out. It's in the driveway.
I'm living in a van. So
it's a conversion.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
but
sweet.
What it isn't is one of these like luxury apartments on wheels. Like people think of like these like Pro Masters Sprinter vans with like the full kitchen and bed setup. Like mine is a 2001 Chevy Astro. So it's like I'm a tall 6 foot person in like the tiniest possible rig that can be converted. Like just this rust bucket that went through 20 years of Midwestern salt and winters, and so that's where I started.
It's got character.
It does. And I'm into it. Like I'm built for this. I can do tuna and PB&J for days on end. And
Yeah. Well, tuna
Living
and
in that,
PBJ.
you know-
You mix tuna with peanut butter and jelly. That's
yeah,
great.
on the same thing. Right. It's like you need the protein, a little bit
I
of
remember when I
sugar,
graduated to
yeah.
PB&J and Cheetos. I mean, I thought that was a game changer.
Sweating right now.
Flaming hot Cheetos.
Sorry. Are you adjusting? If I'm adjusting a lot,
Are you
I'm
nervous?
distracted.
Because I think your body
No, I'm
temperature
just
came
hot,
up.
man. I'm just hot.
Are you sick or something? Because you had that acid reflux earlier.
Oh
Sorry
God,
to call you out
give
on
me a
air.
break. Anyways,
Anything goes on
back
this
to the
show.
van and not my sweat, my
Let's
perspiring.
go back to this.
Yeah, what do you guys want to know?
So you're gonna be producing it out of your van? Is that the goal, like on a mobile hotspot or something?
Because don't you have a keyboard in there too, like a piano style? But I'm guessing there's different types of, right? I remember seeing it. I didn't see it in person, but I remember seeing the Instagram photos of how you like.
Yeah, it's a really
Slide
simple
everything
build,
back.
just like a folding, and it's changed a little bit recently, but I do have like the aspirational placement of instruments to like they're there so that I can learn to play them, and I'm still working on the actual practicing part of it. But yeah, so I mean, I want to get involved in music, so the instruments are there. I have my level 1 beginner's book. I have my
Nice.
guitar in the back.
It's gonna
of the
be
van.
like Tiny Desk, but Tiny Van.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey,
There you go.
yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Like, I
no.
would love to collaborate with people on that level.
a
So
man that doesn't know.
yeah, he has no idea. Doesn't know. He doesn't play. Like I'm starting at ground zero on so
Yeah.
many different things, but that's what's exciting
cool.
about it. The so yeah, this creating a studio space within the van would be ideal, just because. Otherwise, I have to find a studio or find a setup. Like I have to
Yeah.
find a way to make what I have.
I'm sure
work.
you can set something up
Yeah.
that's real cool. I mean, you might even be able to set up like a camera and like, you know, your everything, and open up like the back doors and have like
Like a
wherever
wide
you
lens?
are as your background, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you have the right lighting to compensate, it can be really cool.
It'll make that Walmart parking lot look just A1
You just back up to the
sometimes.
bushes. You know, you look like you're in the
You
forest.
know, you can deliver the daily coupons that you find, you know?
Yeah,
That'd be
dude.
Nice.
That's funny.
I want to try. I'm like doing this thing as if I'm wearing my glasses, but yeah. So
Oh, to grab them or to like fix them.
yeah.
Yeah.
The studio in the van, I definitely like to do it. So probably won't be able to do it live all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm still playing around with like mobile hotspots and what works and what I can
Yeah,
afford.
And it'll
Perception.
be depending on where you are, like the service, or you know, it could be really bad.
Right. But I can always record. Like I can turn the camera on.
Yeah.
I can have the mics working. I have solar power, so there are things.
Oh,
that
sick.
Can, yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
got two. Sorry to interrupt. 300 watts, if I remember.
two
correctly?
100.
Two-
So it's just
two 100s.
200 total. 200 total system, and yeah, my needs are very minimal.
Yeah,
that's pretty
And,
cool.
Yeah, I'll just
That's awesome.
I'll turn on my camera phone, and that's the cool thing about this process for me, is just starting with as minimal resources as I can and
Yeah.
seeing what I can produce from there. And I'm only going to learn how to upgrade and what to upgrade to by doing these first few.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, a bit off camera, is just starting. Like, you know, with our
Yeah,
podcast
right.
and stuff. Like, you'll learn so much by just
Thanks to
throwing
that guy
yourself.
over there.
What? Oh yeah, we
Scott.
just.
Yeah.
Hey, like.
Have you
props.
like edified him yet to the audience?
Oh yeah,
about
no.
his role?
We've already
They
like
already
given
know.
him
Okay,
the throne many times.
Yeah, the
I don't think it's
reason.
been every episode, but it probably should be.
I mean, it's
Like,
why he
just
brought me
start-
on this project, was creative. You
Yeah.
know,
It was-
just
yeah,
get things
a
popping.
creative mind. Yep.
Creative wise.
Executing creative. That was
Kicking
always the
the
number
ass.
one.
But yeah,
Right,
like
yeah.
you will
Kicking
learn so much by
I
doing
forget the
that,
old saying,
and then
but
you
kicking
once you
ass, taking names.
once you develop your community and your audience,
Yeah.
then they can help also guide you. You know, because they'll be like, oh, I've seen podcasts or whatever, or vlogs do this and this and this, and you can kind of pick and choose. You know what you like and might want to pull in for your own production.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who's interested in doing this, the thing I kind of just feel moved to share right now is just the sense of being caught in between. Like, there's this sense that like the van life and being involved in this community and all the new people that I'm meeting is such a ripe vessel for digital content, and at the same time, like there's this limiting factor, which is wanting to like keep that to myself, that this is a very sacred and personal experience, and I arrive at moments where I'm like, man, do I want to turn on the camera?
And
or even
that's a really good
think
thought to
about,
have, because
yeah.
sometimes you can get so caught up in that, and I think you should always check yourself mentally, like, is this worth sharing at this moment, or should I just enjoy this for myself, like as an enriching experience?
Right. It's
hard. It can become very difficult. I mean, I had that issue with Instagram. Like, I was very active about posting, and I wanted to post, whenever I was at a really cool place. But was it important enough for me to forego my own personal reflection and like thoughts that I might get, from that? So I think that's a good thing to keep in mind when you are creating that content. Yeah,
and ultimately, I feel like there's probably no answer except trying it and maybe fucking it up and overcorrecting the other way. It's like, oh man, I just tried to document everything and that didn't feel good. Yeah. Or man, I know I missed a bunch of opportunities that it would have been simple enough to turn on the camera and still have, and then turn it off and then like enter back into
finding that balance will be really important.
So, but I just got to do it.
And having that flexibility, right, to just take that step and then take the agile approach, right? Because everything's not going to go perfect. No matter how much we try, something's going to happen technically, right? Yeah. There's going to be some type of roadblock. So, and I had that mindset, like that reclaimed wood. I didn't want to start the podcast without it.
Yeah.
Scott comes in here and he's like,
we have the best desk.
Like, that's a good desk.
Let's just use this desk right here. It's
fine. Good call. So, like, I'm curious. Like, he and I have gone to, like, we met in a group setting at dinner.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Oh, was this in LA when you were?
The V-Friends meetup. Yeah.
That makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
You're like, what? Did you just meet this guy on the road?
Well, I don't know. I knew you guys had hung out, but I didn't know it was so recent as the V-Friends setting down in LA.
We just met 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, maybe even less. It was just like a Saturday and then a Saturday.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Like 10 days.
V-Friends connecting people.
It's amazing, like, just to kind of like rewind. Like, this all started, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Out of Discord.
Yeah.
The V-Friends Discord chat, and now here we are collaborating. Here Ben is collaborating on the road, speaking with people all over the world, starting his own podcast, and like so much from that project has already formed.
Yeah.
And like started.
It's pretty cool.
I can't thank him enough
appreciate
for that project.
Yeah.
So
what I'm curious about, and like hopefully it doesn't like tie your audience with it if you've already gone over it, but like I'd love to know more about your story and how your life unfolded. Like what were some pivotal moments that brought you right here?
Oh, you're getting up. Can I get some water? Well, I mean, we're breaking scene here.
I'll get you some water.
I'm thirsty. I know. I will.
Me too,
I'm just gonna reflect on it a bit because it's a pretty big question. It's kind of like, well, what do you do? It's kind of an open question. So my whole background is. So I went to school initially. Like, let's just start graduating high school. Okay. Because that's kind of where your life really kind of begins.
Who were you when you graduated? Like, how would you characterize yourself?
I was still lost, as a person, as an artist. I wasn't even an artist really at that point. I mean, you know what? I could have called myself an artist because I drew all the time as a kid.
Nice.
Like, all the time. Like, we were drawing Dragon Ball Z or Pokemon, whatever. Me and my best friends would get together and we'd just draw. And it was like, that was one of our things. Play video games, draw, whatever. So I was kind of an artist in high school, and I actually got pretty high marks, like good grades in art class. Yeah. So it's kind of like funny looking back, like that was actually like a pretty good route for me to go.
Yeah.
But leaving high school, I just didn't have the idea that art could make any money. I didn't think that there was any money in becoming a photographer or an illustrator, anything like that. Yeah. And so I like science. A bit. I enjoyed it, the kind of the thought behind it, and so I was like, you know what, I'll do science, and I chose biochemistry.
Whoa!
Of all subjects, right?
Nice.
I
didn't have the stomach for it,
and it was so dry. It was really dry. I was in like some type of honor programs. Like when I first started in, I can't remember exactly which ones, but it played into me doing some sort of AP class on the way there.
Yeah.
And so I was on a path to become a biochemist. I don't know exactly what I would have done with that.
Yeah.
But it was just so dry and boring to me. Like the people were, not as lively. The subject was, I'm in a lab all the time. Do I really want to spend all my time in a lab? So I kind of had to think about that. And just so happened in that time frame, my mom bought me a camera, a little point and shoot.
Oh, okay.
And I started playing around with it. I took a picture of my brother one time in Vegas, and I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The lighting looks pretty good. I like this, And it kind of rolled from there. Maybe not from that point exactly, but it kind of continued my curiosity with the world and being able to explore with the camera.
I mean, you have to go out into the world and get in the way of those things even possibly happening. Like, I think this is what Gary means about taste testing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you never snap that, just to give yourself the chance of finding the thing where it's like, oh, I did something that I do feel good about, or I feel like just a glimmer of pride, and like to trust that thing, and then like let the next domino fall.
It's a pretty big risk in a way to like put a lot of my time and resources into that, but at the time it just felt so right.
Yeah,
that's where my natural curiosity was going.
Right.
Like I'm curious about life and how to portray it through the lens and stuff.
So that got started.
Picked up a camera. I actually eventually bought like a Canon Rebel or something. Yeah, it was a Canon Rebel XTI, and I was hired.
Very specific.
It's a
that's over my head too.
Yeah.
Early DSLR. It's it was a good camera for the time, and so I started shooting. I bought some lights and stuff. And actually, before I even bought a camera, I was messing around with Photoshop because I was actually really interested in the editing aspect of photography. I liked how people could manipulate it.
Yeah.
So I would actually download. At the time, there was this website called Model Mayhem. I don't think it's used as much anymore.
I know
if at
about
all.
that. Yeah.
Oh, you do, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's forums where the artist can actually share raw files for you to work on, and I was like, nice, because I had never worked in RAW before, right?
Yeah.
So I snatched up the files, like the best ones I could find from the photographers that were sharing them.
Yeah.
Brought them into Photoshop, messed around with skin retouching, hair retouching. Like I was really interested in beauty and fashion at the time, and like how to change colors and stuff and all that.
So really quick, at this point, had you, where were you in the biochemistry thing? Had you shifted?
So
where were you?
I was still at the same college. I was at Long Beach State, but I probably wasn't in biochem at this time. I switched to marketing.
Yeah.
At some point, I realized that wasn't for me, that route in biochemistry. Maybe marketing was it. Another kind of almost random switch, but I did know that marketing would tie into a lot of things down the line in my life because I would be able to sell myself, sell my product, as a brand or whatever.
So editing, photography, all of this was on the side.
It was on the side until, it was probably like an hour and a half. Yeah. Sorry, my dog's in the studio with us.
But I haven't introduced her yet either.
Yeah, she'll join in.
She'll make an appearance.
Dude, first time I forgot to plug in the power. We almost just went dead.
Oh,
like
wow.
dead.
All right, so going there for marketing, and I realized that my love and passion for photography was too much to ignore at this point. I was like, this is what I want to do. Like I've been in this. I'm shooting models now. I shot for a couple companies, and I was like, you know what? This is. Oh, actually, you know what was a turning point because that triggered this.
Yeah.
Was I shot the Trans World Skate Awards. I was big into skating back then. Trans World. I don't know if they're a big magazine still. I assume they are.
Sure.
It was big. It was a big.
Yeah, I remember that.
I met Bam Margera there and stuff, like a bunch of like that whole side of things, and I was like.
Quick side note: Josh Nepper,
Josh
also the moderator. And
yeah.
He toured with Bam.
Oh really?
No shit.
Yeah, I was about to like fuck up his last name, but like he's just like the most interesting man in the world who's like done everything, seen everything. He was like a mountain boarder. Did some sort of like pro sport.
All right.
Anyway, so cool, like
Dos Equis just flashed in my head. I didn't mean to advertise them right there, but the most interesting,
Yeah, I warned them at the beginning. Like I'm kind of super culturally illiterate, so I'm like, if you make any cultural references like sports, music, movies, anything, like I'm gonna miss it, and it's gonna be so dry.
Oh, that's my bad.
But the second he says one, I'm like, I know that one.
Yeah. So all these like
pro
famous like snowboarders and skateboarders were at this event, and I was just like kind of blown away. I'm like, this is so cool. And the guy who actually hired me to shoot it, I was a novice at the time. I didn't know about negotiating rates beforehand, having a contract, all that. So I shot all these amazing photos, spent a lot of time editing them, and eventually sent them to him. And I was like, okay, cool. So I get paid now. And he's like, what? You don't get paid. And I'm like, I was so mad. And he's like, you're not a professional. You can go to art school. And I'm like, all right then. All right. Well, I am officially pissed now. So at that point, I was listening to College Dropout at the time, Kanye West, and I'm like, you know what? These are other people's dreams for me to go to school and get my bachelor's in this, and it wasn't for me. And I realized that photography was my route. I called up my mom and I was like, Mom, don't be mad at me, but I'm gonna drop out, and I hope that I have your blessing to do it. Your support.
You just wasted a lot of money.
And she
Congratulations.
said, you know what? I'll always support you. In anything you want to do, but I'm not gonna pay for your art school. And I'm like, it's fine. I'll do what I can, get loans.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do what I can.
I'm sure if you made that decision earlier on in your academics, it would have been not a problem,
I mean,
right?
and that, part of me is like, why didn't I just go to community college or like take a year off or something to figure it out? But at the end of the day, I don't know if it would have led me down that path.
Exactly.
You
wouldn't be here today.
Yeah. And speaking about paths, I saw this image today that was really cool. It was like, so the day you're born, right?
Yeah.
And you have all these paths that are from the day you're born, and a green line following one particular path, right? And this is your life path. But there's a separating line that says, this is your life today. And these are all the paths that you can go down by choosing that day to be different. Don't accept the path that you're on, and maybe that's okay.
Yeah,
tell him, bro.
Don't tell me what he's doing, bro.
And maybe that's okay to follow the path that you're on, but don't be afraid to go down a different path. Think if you're inquisitive about something, this podcast. I could have just sat at home, played video games, been a photographer for the rest of my life. I love photography, but it's not different, and life is exciting when you're different. And so that's
take
something.
a step and try something
exactly
out of your comfort
and
zone.
so I knew at that point my life was kind of forking. Like I had this path, but no, I'm going this way. And so honestly, from that point on, once I started making those kind of decisions that really affected my life and how I wanted to attack life and approach life, that's when my life started really changing, and the universe started working for me. I wasn't, honestly,
right?
I was working hard, but I wasn't what's the word? I wasn't like heavy-handed, and I didn't feel like it was forced. Nothing was forced. Everything was just who I was and how I was going to be from that on.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that feeling existed forever.
Right.
It's a bit fleeting at times, and it ties into a lot of different things. Whether you're mentally stable, your physical being is okay. It's a lot of that. And so, in recent times, I've kind of been up and down with art and all of that, photography. Where do I go? How do I approach things again? And I think that, honestly, I found the most balance and happiness that realigned. Like, once I sort of realized that, okay, my mental's not in check, realign. What are my goals in life? How to do that? My body's not in check. Okay, how can we get it back? Let's keep the machine going. And sort of, once I started taking risks again like this and talking to Marcelo about the white paper and all that, life became really funny.
Shout out, we love you too.
Yeah.
Whoever that is.
Hello, thank you for
Appreciate
the love.
I know, right?
But like
Thanks.
this whole thing sparked another curiosity in my life. Like, I'm throwing myself into crypto and NFTs, and I'm a noob again, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm at the base level, and I'm just gonna claw my way up, and that's the exciting thing.
Yeah, being a noob again. I don't know or when the last time was that you were a noob at something, but it makes me think of, I had this experience maybe 2 or 3 years ago where I found this one Scottish YouTuber who just
nice, I like
learns
that.
new
Scottish.
Yeah, he learns new skills constantly.
I'm sure the accent helps with the videos.
It's great. Yeah.
But that's interesting, and he films the process or the lessons?
Yeah, and times it. How long will it take me to learn how to ride a wheelie on a bicycle?
Damn.
And so there was this one episode where he got playing dice and was learning to do some sort of just gaming trick or gambling trick with
like a magic or
or not even just magic, but just one of those what do you call them, party tricks or something.
Okay. Yeah.
So
entertainment.
Exactly. But so starting with these small things, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And what it made it so unique because I actually went to the store and got some dice and a cup. And he was doing the thing with the throwing cards.
It piqued your curiosity so much.
Just this one little thing. And I arrived at this point, I think I was 26 at the time. I'm 29 now. And I got this feeling just from playing around with that, or almost getting it the first time. It's oh shit, it has been so long since I learned something new and just got the satisfaction from playing with something and getting better at it, just getting a little better. So when it comes to learning stuff about NFTs and or reading, it just kind of waved a flag for me, like you've been disconnected from something like this in your life, and kind of, I think, started me down a path of really examining how I was or was not growing, because I definitely felt in a rut for a long time. And to realize, like, oh, you hadn't learned anything new or acquired new skills. You're kind of just trying to keep your head above water. And
that's
special.
There's a new rush, or not a new rush, a rush that you get when you're doing something new, and you know, something clicks. You know, you accomplish one step in learning something. You're like, yes. Like for example, with the 3D, you know, I'm learning Blender now. I had followed these tutorials, right? And the tutorials are good. They're really like teach you in depth, and really like you get to learn your things, but there's not a lot of creativity that comes into it. So today when you just, you know, you showed up and I was playing with that and I made that thing, it's really simple, but the fact that I was able to just do it on my own, I didn't look at a tutorial or anything, just messed around with everything, had an idea, as simple as it was, created it. That feeling of just, oh, I made something, it's in the world now.
You guys just gave me an idea.
I was about to say, thanks for being the guest on our podcast today.
You guys just gave me an idea, so I might incorporate this into my agreements, but to cultivate unbridled curiosity. Now, I know that's tough, because unbridled curiosity, the definition now, I could be paraphrasing a little bit, smiley face. But, like, I've always described, like, Isabel and Cynthia growing up, their unbridled curiosity with the technology and how to navigate and any questions they may have. Like, I got the honor to watch them for a few days when I was out there, and the amount of questions I was asked on the days they didn't get homeschooled. Right, I had peace when they were on their laptops doing homeschool, but on the days they didn't, like, good Lord, the curiosity, like, I want that for life. I want to have what they have, and I want to approach it as if I'm a child. But you also have to, as you grow older, you have to, like, think. It's
so hard as you grow older.
You're an adult.
Though.
You've learned all these lessons. So how do you at least take something from that and learn how to cultivate that energy? You guys just gave me an idea.
Like, how can you put those glasses?
So thank you.
How do you put those glasses
you guys
back
know how
on
that goes
to see the world like a kid again?
What glass? Oh,
like just the imaginary
it's like,
glasses.
Wait. Is that literal here?
Because they have this vision of the world, and as an adult, you become jaded to these things. Like, for example, like my traveling. I've been across the world. I've been to many countries, and at some point,
have you been
every
more than that?
Every country. How many is there?
What?
How many?
Oh, I think I got 12 pins so far.
32.
Shit! See, I wanna. What's funny is I had this idea to start this vlog.
Sitting at a cool
110. Right? 110. I motivate somebody to do this. I don't think I'll have. I mean, I would love to make the time for it, and I still might. But I wanted to vlog 100 countries in 10 years.
I mean,
that's
possible.
A comfortable 3 months.
Although
you know,
you really, like, the thing that I've learned from traveling, and this goes back to what I kind of about to say, is like, after I went to so many places, I started to become 32.
Dang,
I started to become jaded. Like, all the mountains look the same, all the rivers look the same. It was just another different type of food, and I don't know what it was. I think I was lacking a certain thing in my life or something, some other drive, but it just all made me feel so numb.
I get so hyped about this because, like, it feels like an opportunity for you to question, like, what is the thing that is important to me, because it's not about the landscapes or the trying the food for everyone, and it shouldn't be. Like, we have these romanticized ideas that traveling needs to be this thing, but to find what makes you happy and what fills you. So I wonder if out of that experience, in contrast to those things, I don't know if they later became more meaningful to you, but
I think that, you know, the biggest camera just died.
Did it? Yep. Oh, again. So bear with us. You can hear us.
Yeah,
you can hear us. You're gonna see the screen twitch just for a moment, and he's swapping out the batteries. So, but let's go check the chat, because I think V Friends hopped in. Jeremy,
we're back.
Welcome. Thanks for.
Let's go.
Hey, so Jeremy, he must be like this. I don't know. I don't want. He's not bad luck. That's for darn sure. But this happened the last time he was on the show. Remember the identical thing. The battery.
You know what's funny is like I even before the show I was like the battery's at 3 bars out of 4. I was like we'll probably be okay.
That isn't on the recording. It's just for some reason on this Twitch.
Yeah.
I'm just noticing like how much my sunburn and like pastiness comes out.
So this is the live.
You look good.
Yeah.
You're glistening.
Well, then you got the glow behind you. So
it probably helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Looking worse, but.
Okay, before battery died. Travel. What were we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So going to those places and getting jaded to those experiences. I think I learned down the road from that experience and that feeling was that from all my travels, I was in a way, and this is really deep, looking for a place where I belonged.
Yeah.
And I think that I was searching the world for a place, you know, to finally settle down and call home. But like, nothing ever really felt like I have home out of the Bay Area with my family and stuff, but there's something about making a place your home your own. Yeah. And I felt that for a long way in San Francisco, because when I lived in San Francisco, I was living out in Sutro Baths. It was beautiful. It was, you know, I could walk out the door with my camera and not come back until the sun was down.
Yeah.
Because I thrived off of that environment.
Okay.
And then ever since I left there, which not saying that leaving was ever a bad choice, I never felt that same this is where I belong sort of feeling. And I've always felt included. Like I moved to New York.
Sure.
I went to Portland. Love New York. Honestly, some of the best friends I've ever made in my life are in New York. And like it's such a different vibe and a different world, and it teaches you a lot. But I still didn't feel that was home for me.
Mm-hmm. So there's like inclusion and belonging. That's two separate things,
right?
And I don't know. Is this story leading to a discovery? Like,
not necessarily. Well, I would say most recently, I think I'm still on that journey. But most recently, being here, working with Marcelo, being close to my dad, being near my best friend again, has been really, really nice. Yeah, like really nice. I've noticed like just mentally. Even if I'm maybe not in the best place financially, physically, or whatever, I'm still happy here. And so like that's huge. That's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah. And I think having this project that we're working on now giving me purpose again.
Yeah.
You know, not to say that I didn't have purpose in being the best photographer I can be, but I hit a point where it wasn't satisfying that hunger anymore. And so now finding a place here where I'm able to settle down again and call home, it feels good. Yeah,
like defining what and finding just belonging for yourself. It would be interesting to kind of workshop through what are the ingredients on an individual level for belonging. Is it to a place, to a person, to a community, to your purpose, to like where
think, you know, something that can kind of convolute that these days or dilute it is social media. I'm not saying that social media is a bad thing, but it ties your community and identity to the internet, which is everywhere. Yeah. So where do you find a place in the world that you're okay being yourself, but you do have that community, but it's not your only community, right? Yeah. Finding community where you actually live in the physical world, I think is really important.
And I feel like I like the idea of kind of like bringing that as a topic and talking about it, because let's go. And I could be wrong about this, but I feel like each person's chemistry, right? Each person's variables that are needed to spark that thought, to have the willingness, right? To open that thought process, the doors to that thought process. That's what I'm curious about. What triggers what type of person? Yeah. Right?
I mean, everyone's different.
You know what I mean? Because everybody's different.
Everybody's different.
Their
wants,
motivation from different sources. I know we're all coming at you.
I can't even speak.
I had to say what I had to say.
Yeah.
So, but I've learned that through my path and my journey, that everybody's a little different. What works for them isn't going to work for me, but I can pick apart something from what worked for them. Yeah. And it'll work for me. Like everything I've done, there's bits and pieces from other people.
Yeah, it was
like monkey bits. Monkey bits. And monkey pieces?
Monkey bits. Don't say it! That's a knee slapper.
Bitmonkey.
He's here all week, folks.
Yeah. So Bitmonkey's, Grease Monkey.
This
bits and
is
bytes,
the
ones and
opportunity
zeros.
where I'm going to like brand
Oh, there
myself
we
and
go.
join the
There's actually a box.
Bitmonkey hat gang. I was feeling left out, so I hid
He's
this under
in.
the table,
There
and
you
this
go.
is the moment where
So
where I
there's
join.
going to be
Monkeys
some
out.
swag for you at the end of the
Monkeys
show.
out.
Monkeys
There's a
out.
box you can choose from.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, we'll hook
I'll
you up
rep
with
the
some swag.
brand.
Yeah, that's actually
Yeah,
that's
we
what we
got some
should
more
do
swag
for
coming
anyone
on
who
the
comes
way.
on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Instant swag.
So we're gonna, I'm bringing in more swag. So we're on our last batch, but with the Moral Monkey Mob and some new graphics I'm doing, or that we're having done with Dustin, who's coming on board. As we haven't defined the role yet, but he's the
Haven't defined
talent,
my
the
role
level
yet
of talent from an illustrative artist perspective is fucking out of this world.
That man.
Oh
so
my
he was
goodness,
my
I
roommate in
cannot
college.
wait to show you guys what.
And
what
he's just like
Can we like bump his like
Disney,
social media or
Pixar.
something to
He's
like
not-
see what he
Dusty
does?
Dusty Art, I believe, on Instagram. Dusty Art. His name is
DUSTY.
Dustin Burks Larinaga, and he is
Yeah, he
long,
knows him
long
very well.
artist name.
Yeah.
Can you spell that out, please?
It looks like lasagna with an R.
Is that in his handle or is it just at Dusty Art?
I think it's at Dusty Art.
Okay.
But he's just been like such a crazy like artist ever since I ever knew him. Like everything was so well drawn and put together, and like even before I considered myself an artist, I was looking at him like, damn, that's what an artist should be,
Yeah.
And so, kind of
that's not
becoming an artist. It's something like Dusty Art.
Not Dusty Art.
He's
not
okay.
Dusty Art.
Yeah, don't send.
Hold on.
It's like
False
sending
alarm.
your child to YouTube to search something and having them find something else, dude.
I
You
could've
just don't
sworn
do that.
Okay. Don't-
Sometimes it's an empty
What I
abyss.
just said, don't listen to that because I did his plugs wrong. It's something like that. No, look up Dustin Burks. Look up Dustin Burks.
Yeah.
Because maybe he changed it recently. Because I've honestly been on him about social media, about
Is it the B?
no.
Doesn't know the logo.
Burkes?
I'll figure it out
All right,
later.
so,
and,
yeah, we'll
we'll
do this
plug
on the fly.
Dustin another time.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll
But-
just keep hyping him up episode to episode until we figure
But
it
the
out.
thing about his art is it's really like I don't know if cultural references said you won't get it. Probably won't get Norman Rockwell. He's a painter, I believe, by painter illustrator, but he has very like his characters, the people he draws have so much personality and character. Like
depth.
you can look at them.
Behind the
Depth,
2D
yeah.
layer.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah, like how like you'd look at someone on the street, and you can just tell they have a lot of character, and you kind of wonder what their story is.
Yeah.
That's how his characters and illustrations look like.
It's not me. I don't have one of those faces. That's why I grow my hair out. Yeah.
Where has he been? What deserts has he wandered through?
Yeah, I went on a date once, and like afterwards, I see on her Snapchat, it's like when the guy's only personality trait is being 6 feet tall.
No, savage. That is quite savage. I feel
Damn.
for you.
Yeah. First date vibes.
Yeah,
But
yeah, Dustin's work is incredible, and I tried to bring him onto this project, and I would love to have him be a part of this.
okay.
We're just kind of working out the kinks, so
Yeah, what's his?
we'll figure it out later. I'll tell you later. I'll find it out. I'm really bad about because he's generally like he's not super active on social media.
Yeah.
I've tried to encourage him over the years, and like he doesn't. I don't know if like he just doesn't really have faith in his art on social media. He's not putting it out there as like aggressively as he probably should be. But also he's also going down other outlets and stuff. Like he's worked with a bunch of different studios where he's creating some really cool work. So maybe he doesn't need it per se.
Yeah, if he's doing his thing.
But I would just love to get his art out there more.
I feel the same way about my twin brother, but similarly.
What are you doing there?
Jeremy, I remember seeing the chat. You might want to hop on, so I'm
Okay.
prepping.
I just want to see what our timing's at because I really want to try to keep this at around an hour.
We
We're
can
at
do
an
that.
hour.
We could do
We
this
can go over.
second 45 bonus
Yeah,
content.
you know what?
Sign up on
Yeah.
Patreon for
We'll do
the
a
whole
separate
podcast.
live show, maybe. Bring
Yeah.
Jeremy
Yeah,
on.
because I don't want to overwhelm our viewers with 2 hours online. Because if he jumps on, we're gonna talk for 2 hours. Like,
I mean,
it's
if
gonna
it's
happen.
compelling enough, people will
Yeah,
stay.
I don't mind it, Scott.
People will stay. We just gotta
All right.
command their.
It's gonna be because
I'm okay. full here because we're gonna have to get it. My stomach is killing me right now.
You know what's funny? I was
And
just about to
so,
tell you.
like,
I was like, what happened? Because now my stomach's all
I'm
weird.
trying to,
did
like-
you
like,
I'm
just, like,
chilling.
What are-
You guys can go take a
like,
nap and
in
I'll
30
What is it?
minutes, he's
full
gonna say the
full
same shit.
disclosure.
Like, what
Full
is this?
disclosure. Before we started filming this episode, they're like, "All right, let's go." And I don't know
acid,
what happened. My stomach is just like turning. It's acidic, and I was like, "Do you have some Tums?
so
Please
funny.
let me have some Tums." And he doesn't have any Tums.
So it's
I'm
not.
just
It's
sitting
not a
here-
matter of the hour.
Maybe
that
I-
was just
maybe
like
that- okay, that was
nice
me
way of
trying to
saying,
cover it up
My
for-
stomach hurts and I want to get off. Is that what?
So maybe I take a step out. You guys can
So
talk
maybe
to Jeremy.
we can take over, bring Jeremy on, and then it'll be me,
Sure,
Jeremy, and
yeah.
have a little V Friends
That
Right?
sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
segment.
Yeah, or
could
we end the stream here, and we could use that as our recording on Wednesday too. We can stream it, but just use it as our recording on Wednesday.
I'm
that we
hopping
upload.
on. No, I'm hopping on Jeremy's on Wednesday. We're gonna do a separate one Wednesday.
Well, so
For
ideally,
us.
Yeah. Wait.
No.
No, we
For
do lives
our-
every
I
Monday,
know-
Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
Sorry, Ben. We're working out this. We're working out this. You know?
great.
Trial and error.
No, we are not pre-recording. Unless we're like
okay,
going
fine.
out of town. Let's make
this is
this as
gonna
authentic
go.
as
Okay,
possible.
all right, go for
Well,
it.
so how about
This
this?
is
How
wrong.
I'm
much-
gonna step out
Okay.
when he jumps on because I'm really uncomfortable right now. I wish that my stomach wasn't upset. I'm like, it's turning right now.
What time are we at? How much time do we have left? And maybe we can dive into.
We're a little over now.
We're over. Forget
Yeah.
about.
It's okay.
Forget
If he's
about
gonna jump on now,
Yeah, we're just
let's
gonna
do it.
no.
Just
Scott's
do
gonna
it.
exit. We're gonna keep this going on
Yeah,
number 8.
I'm gonna-
Jeremy, I'm gonna text you right now. I know we've been talking about you here. Hope you. Oh, you know what's crazy? I never even freaking sent
Oh
that.
my
whoop.
gosh, this guy,
Retarded.
social media genius.
Hey, got a lot on my plate. You know.
Yeah, but
That's no
I,
excuse though, because
I feel like I've
it
been
doesn't
here.
Take long.
I've contributed my 2 cents. I'm good.
Yeah, the audience got to know you a little bit
Got
better.
to know
I
me a
think.
little bit more. Yeah,
know your
you
story.
know. I got interviewed on my own show. It's amazing. Nice.
I'm using this as the testing grounds, just trying to build
Yeah.
up my own acumen when the
Yeah,
when
no,
the time
it's
comes.
good because like you said, when someone asks you what have you done, it's like it's kind of like trying to talk about yourself, on a whim. I don't want to be like me,
Right.
right? But I want to have something to tie to a story,
Right.
an idea, thought, whatever,
Of course.
some advice, and so that actually helps, prompting questions and stuff.
Hell
And that's
yeah.
what we try to do with our interviews.
I love it, dude. I feel like there's so many golden nuggets out of this.
All right, bear with us while Marcelo tries to get the GoPro working. I think it's working.
Fries. Come on now. Have a little faith.
USB connected. We're
Have a
looking
little
good.
faith.
Our
Let me
audience
connect
is
this to the
looking real
Google Meet.
smiley over there.
You guys are gonna have so many little clipped moments where
Oh,
like
we're
I'm
gonna
just
pull
doing
this one
the
apart?
in like an office space,
He's
like
gonna be like,
glance at the camera while you guys are just
like,
like
ear and you're like,
sometimes you'll be talking and I just look at the camera.
We go off on like
Which
a
I
quick
don't-
little side argument.
I don't know if that works.
Hey, I think it's a nice backdrop.
yeah.
Oh, I like the
Yeah, so this is what
Yeah,
Jeremy's
so-
gonna see, right?
Helps
But
us
this is the live stream. This
Oh,
is kind of how we
sweet.
tie it all because we can't dual purpose that main feed.
I feel like this conversation with Jeremy's about to.
All right.
Oh, you guys are gonna pop off. I'm gonna go take my dog for a walk.
Yeah, if you go to the
Hopefully my
store, can you
stomach
grab
is
me
gonna
some?
be chilling.
Can you grab me some gurus?
Yeah.
I feel like that might help my stomach.
Gurus.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was just like it was really cool to meet you, man.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. This was fun.
This was fun.
All right, I'm gonna sign out here. Thank you guys for hanging out with
Thank
me.
you for your time.
Scott Barrero, Bitmonkey TV. It's not over, but I'm out.
We're gonna continue. Jeremy with Wanna Be a V Friend is coming on board. So for the YouTube recording,
There you go.
Oh, can we do the headphones? I want to
yeah.
experience.
So let's
the
set it
full-
up.
I
All
want-
right. So
I want the
everyone's
full
got to
Yeah,
bear
let's
with
go
us. We're gonna
headphones
do this quick. So,
I'll do it.
but we can't even test the audio on this one.
Oh, it's too high. Leave it here.
Let's
Yeah, don't mess with
Yeah.
it. Honestly.
because we just perfected it for this.
Yeah.
So it might be best. But you know
You
what?
can
We
wear
can put
headsets
the
on.
headsets on.
Yeah. Cool. There you go.
I'm gonna convert over to water bottle.
Move this in.
I feel like I look like such a goofball.
There you go.
Do we need clothing compatibility, or can I strip down a layer?
No wardrobe changes.
No wardrobe change.
I mean, unless it's a hat.
Right. I feel like it's kind of goofy. Are you serious though? I can't take off my sweater.
I think he was joking.
Oh, thank God. I'm trying to break out of this habitual rule follower thing. Different conversation, different vibe, different. Oh man, see that hat is protecting the audience from the knowledge that I am due for a shower.
DRVH 1C. Sorry, Jeremy. Thanks for bearing with us and our viewer. Let's see, DRB. All right, Jeremy, we just sent that over, so we can actually make. You want to make full use of this? Here, scoot over a little bit.
I do.
Because there we go. Now we can actually get and have. Oh, look, we got the turkey in the middle behind us. Lovely. So for anybody who's been following along between 7 and 8, we had a new backdrop change here. Hope you like it. We would love to know your feedback on what you think. I get these out of here.
This is interesting.
Can you hear it?
Wait, what is the what music is playing in the background?
Oh, it's some background music. Do you want to turn that off?
No, I love it.
Yeah, it's Pretzel Rocks. It was Scott's idea. It's a web-based streamer, and there's supposed to be no copyright issues from it. But we've had sometimes some weird songs pop up. So
it's just doing.
All right, let's get Jeremy on here. So Jeremy. All right, we're gonna kick you over on the interview. How you doing? Can you hear us?
Yes,
it's me.
I'm so excited to see you.
How you doing today?
Man.
So let's pop on over to. Oh, give us 1 second.
Oh, this is so cool.
I gotta update the link here. Let's
Cool.
see here.
This is fun.
I did half of it. Yeah, we're doing this on the fly. This is actually we'll get this procedure down
We're
to
learning
where it's
so
much quicker.
Don't we do everything on the fly?
Right? That's the best way to learn, man.
No, I obsess way too far in advance.
But isn't all of your obsession done on the fly?
Shoot. Let's full screen you, and now let's pop on over. All right. Here we are. I'm pretty sure that we're live. I'm gonna make sure.
Can you give us like a little musical intro to this conversation, Jeremy?
Yeah, Jeremy. We can pick apart your audio for sonic branding or something like that.
All right, let's go. This is the
Let's
song. Okay,
refresh this.
I need a better beat. Dun, dun, dun. Welcome to the Bitmonkey Twitch dream. It's got everything you need, and you will see.
Uh-oh.
You will see
There we
that sometimes your battery dies, but that's okay. You just recharge and say, what the hey? We've got Marcelo in the house. He's wearing his trademark hat and is in a tank top, and he knows that only one day at a time. Hey, cue showgirls.
So for those who don't know, Jeremy, please introduce yourself. So he comes from a performance arts background and amongst so many other skill sets. I'm going to give you the floor. For those viewers down the road who watch the recording like, whoa, who's this coming on board? I want to give you the floor, because really love your background, and I know we've only begun to scratch the surface talking, between our interviews. So
Totally.
please, floor is yours.
Yeah, like you said, my name is Jeremy. Full name Jeremy Charles Hone, and I include my middle name because my dad ingrained it to me as a child. I am a person. I've done a lot of random things. My background is in theater. I've done a lot of street performance and backstage technician work. More recently, I was building props and sets for theater and film productions, and then I switched into being a handyman on TaskRabbit. Then the pandemic hit, and I went deep into photography, still doing that. But at the moment, I'm working at a restaurant in New York City where I live with my fiance and my dog. And
Beautiful.
I know these cool cats because we all follow Gary Vee, and he dropped an NFT project that I didn't know about, and then I was excited for, and then unexpectedly threw my whole self into, and I spend all of my free time reporting on VeeFriends and engaging in the community, and I run an Instagram page and a Twitch and a podcast all around VFriend called Wanna Be a VFriend, because that's what I want to be.
Yeah. So, I mean, to plug that for a second, Wanna Be a VFriend is this hub for that kind of just disseminates and collects all the information being produced within the Gary V Discord community, everything related to his NFT project, developments in his IP, anything that you could want to know or ask yourself, or anything you're interested in, even related to NFTs in general. That is a great access point and entryway into the conversation, and just a great community. Like, you're bringing a ton of amazing people together to have conversations and share their stories. So there's just this level of entertainment that
it's more than just news. You know, you've built a community around summarizing all this content that most people don't have the time to dig through. So thank you. You know, keep doing a great job, because I mean, you're that, I don't want to say diamond in the rough. I'm very bad with saying this, you'll learn. Right?
You're a diamond in the rough.
But like, I don't know. Totally. I think you're onto something here, and it was just random, right? It was just an idea that formed, and it kind of like you just been pivoting as you go as far as what content you're focusing on. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. I mean, like I said, I wasn't really following the NFT project. A friend of mine who I had turned on to Gary V years ago rediscovered him during the pandemic, and it was like his rock. Like, Gary V's content like kept him positive, kept him going. And I was not really following day to day what Gary was doing, but this same friend I had told in like February and March, I was like, look, I started investing in cryptos, and I just don't want you to miss it. Like, you should try to do a little bit.
Yeah.
And so when the NFT project came up, he made me aware of it, and we were thinking that we wouldn't be able to afford one. And when I saw that there was one that you apply for, I decided to start this page and go all in. And instead of, my original intention was to build out like a huge resume with my story and have the page be all about me.
Right.
But then following Gary V's blueprint, I realized that's not valuable. I'll curate fan art, news, whatever else, and then it just sort of organically grew from there. And yeah, I haven't really thought about it, but you're right. It is a bit of a, I don't know if diamond in the rough is exactly right, but it's like
my saying's all off for sure.
No, it's all good. It's like a special little gem within the VFriends universe. Like, sort of like if you know, you know. It's still, you know, we've got 1,200 followers, which is incredible in just less than 2 months.
Yeah.
But when you think about, there's 150,000 in the Discord and almost 5,000 token holders, it's still a relatively small portion of the community. So it is a bit of a sleeper right now.
Yeah, you and I had an exchange earlier today, in a brief moment where we kind of just got to marvel at the various one in that 150,000 pool, all the ones of the 150,000 that are kind of rising to the top and starting to connect publicly and reveal like various projects of their own in ways that they're adding value to the community, and everybody sort of discovering each other. But you know, there's another mutual friend that we talked to, Ricky Debler, was talking about how everyone is there, because we talk in NFT and art space around rarity and that everyone is their own one of one spectacular
100%.
Collectible version of themselves.
Right.
And it's cool seeing that tapestry unfold.
That's why. And actually, because of Ricky's advice, is why I named I thought, you know, maybe the podcast should just be "Wanna Be a VFriend."
Yeah.
But his advice was put your name in it, which is why I called it Jeremy Knows, because your face is a one of one NFT. You know, like your face, your story is truly unique.
Yeah.
And kind of on that same note, Ricky said something to me this morning. He said he had a revelation.
Ooh.
And that is that
revelation from Ricky.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
And it's just like a tiny perspective shift, but it's very important for people who are coming into NFTs or content creation or really just taking on any kind of commerce exchange where he's saying everyone right now is so focused on rarity. You know, when it comes to the V Friends or to the Super Yetis or to the Bored Ape, you know, different properties are being elevated because they're more rare. But that the true lifetime value is enterprise. And that over time, the enterprise of different projects will overtake the rarity within them.
So kind of. You chopped up like you were robotic for a second. I think that was our feed. Can you go back just, like 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. It's just
right,
that
sorry.
like
was I wrong there?
Rarity, the rarity, the scarcity of any particular property or token is being put on a pedestal as like, you know, like gold apes in Bored Ape Yacht Club are selling for a lot more than other apes, or like in the V Friends world, spectaculars are selling for more than the regular cores.
Yeah.
And that's all fine, but that over time enterprise, like the actual trajectory of the brands of these characters will overtake the rarity of individual tokens, because the enterprise of Bored Ape Yacht Club or Super Yetis, like, and same for profiles, like like the novelty of what we might create is the value in the middle, like in the process, but the enterprise of what we strive to become and create is really what will, you know, put lifetime value for the community, for the creators, and for anybody who is a part of it.
I think this is a great follow-up. I don't know how you'll be able to connect the two podcasts, to like clip them and then bookmark the conversation we just had, because we were talking earlier about Super Yetis and things that are happening within the community, and from a space of ignorance, and having spoken to Ricky and to these guys here on the podcast today, I was questioning like what is happening, like what is the source of the backlash happening within the community, and where were people's values and expectations rooted, that there's this sudden outrage about qualities or superficial characteristics of the art, when there's, you know, a use case, a plan, a strategy that has to be played out for so much longer. So I mean, it's kind of a question around, you know, what a person's entry into that investment was founded on, like what their own personal expectations were, and the opportunities to look at it differently, the long term, the enterprise, the IP, the use, etc. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Me too. So I just had a thought, and I really think that over time we're going to see that the projects that really hone in on community building and building that enterprise are going to be those projects that make it through this winter that nobody's really talking about. But there's winter coming. There's always a winter that comes after every 600+% gain in anything. There's going to be some type of correction, right? So the one thing I'm looking at and always focused on is what's the utility behind that, and then more importantly, okay, what's the roadmap look like? Do they have a roadmap? All right, you know, it's not that I want every project to donate, but I, you know, would love to see projects be more transparent with their intentions, right? Because what I'm afraid of with people coming into this space right now, they're seeing these big numbers being thrown around, right? They're seeing people acquire something at 1 and sell it for 50, you know, just as an idea. And what I'm worried about is a lot of people are going to make investments based off of that get rich quick mindset, rather than I'm looking forward to having a chat with Ricky, because the idea behind investing in the enterprise is brilliant. It's very smart because you're investing in the community as well, right? It's more so, it's past the art. It's what's going to happen past the art. You know what I mean? And I keep looking the freaking wrong way. I need to look at the camera. Oh,
well, I mean, and have some accountability for the fact that it is still speculative too. I mean, have your own personal reasons, and Ricky's also great on touching on the emotion and personal connection to things as well. But to, you know, have an idea, like really diversify the reasons for getting into a project other than just the financial ROI or immediate ROI.
The ooh la la, because I can't tell you, now maybe this is just my focus group of friends and family, right? Sure. But I can't tell you how many people are asking, oh, how's this project sound? coming to me with ideas for NFT projects. I'm like, this is all clearly money grab stuff because it's all observing what's happening in the market, things that are actually hitting the news for the everyday people who aren't, you know. And I don't mean to. I know you're kind of dipping your toes into Ethereum, Bitcoin. You're still learning.
Yeah, very, very
right?
new.
So I
and
mean, no
unsophisticated.
offense to that for anybody watching, but it's from the outside looking in. I feel like a lot of the intent initially is money, right? It's money. It's always money first.
Can I jump in real quick?
No.
So like, there's so many layers to what we're talking about, and a lot of it is a product of the contemporary culture. What I mean by that is the decreasing attention span of all of us dealing with social media, our lives changing, so much communication going digital and everything else, which isn't inherently bad, but it does have a neurological side effect that, you know, we're less patient and we're more interested in the short-term gain. And to take that further, especially with crypto, I agree with you that I would say the majority of people who got into crypto in this bull cycle, me included, got in because we saw that it was going up, and we saw these crazy gains coming out of, you know, Dogecoin or whatever, you know, meme coins, shit coins, plenty of Bitcoins also do have roadmaps and long-term plans, but for the audience, like, it's important for people to really be honest with themselves about what kind of investor they are. Meaning, are you looking for short-term, medium-term, or long-term gains? Because there's a lot of promise about, you know, buy in April and you'll see a return in September at the end of the bull market, which everybody wants to talk about, but nobody can confirm really. And that's how people get burned. Like, people who start to invest and then they can all of a sudden swing trade without doing tons of homework about the market dynamic. They get burned because you're good. It's like somebody put it to me this way. It's the hardest, easiest way to make money. If you can buy low and sell high, it's really easy to make money. But that doesn't change the fact that it's very difficult to time the market. And the people who just dollar cost average in, buy and hold for 5, 10 years and longer, those people are going to see the easiest, consistent gains, as opposed to people who, you know, and also, like, in this correction, how many people bought at 60 and they're not willing to wait for Bitcoin to recover from the 32K it's at right now? We all know that it will. It's just a matter of time. But a lot of people got shaken out of the market because this correction was severe. You know, it's like 50% in a day. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot. It'll shake you out.
Oh yeah. And, you know, and sorry, I didn't mean to get up and cut you off or be rude. I had Scott banging on the door. He didn't have a key to he didn't have the key to get in, so he's like,
this becomes my podcast.
Like, it was unusual because we have all the doors closed and everything. But
I mean, so, like, emotion, enterprise. I mean, there's a lot of juicy, you know, elements that we can consider when investing into something. And with the market being where it is now, I mean, you can look at the charts and see where cryptocurrency is. Like, what would be for someone who's brand new, which is still practically myself. Like, I'm asking this, you know, from an authentic, curious standpoint. Is like, where would a person get started and start looking, and how would they? If they were just curious but wanted to learn, how could they actively invest, and, you know, where would they go? Where are some good starting points?
Well, I mean,
and maybe none of us are experts here, but
I can give a few, but I'll let you flow. You started.
I think it depends a little bit on how much time you want to spend, because if you really want to make thoughtful investments, I would recommend that you go to coinmarketcap.com, which has a lister of all of the cryptocurrencies, their current market cap, which means how much money's been invested in them. You can get direct links to the white paper, the teams behind them, you know, price history. Like, you can get a lot of data there, and, you know, the people who are going on that website and searching not the top 10, but like the top 200 to 500 and looking for projects with promise and investing in those and investing in projects that they actually believe in, I'm pretty sure a lot of those, not everyone will survive the next winter, but a lot of them will. And putting in $1,000 if you have it, or $100, could give you really great gains. Now, if you don't want to do that footwork, then your best bet is to bet on the already established winners. You know, basically anything in the top 10 right now. I haven't looked at the top 10 recently. I think Dogecoin is still in the top 10. Like I was lucky enough to buy a little bit of Dogecoin at 1 cent, and when I saw it hit 50 cents, I was like, I've got my 50x. I don't care if it goes to $1. It's all good. But people are buying in at 20 to 40 cents. I do think over time it will go to $1, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be as fast as it was from a cent to 70 cents. So my point is, like, most of the top 10s, you know, don't bet the farm on it, but betting I would say 2 to 5% of your monthly income is a safe bet on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Chainlink, and, you know, a handful of others in the top 20. But you should make sure that those projects have a real team, have a roadmap for where they're going. Like, that's why I love Cardano. They've taken way longer to execute what they said they were going to do, but they're still working on it, and they're making moves and partnerships, and so, you know, you just look for reputable people or companies who are co-signing a project, and understand that if you buy a token with an already huge market cap in the hundreds of billions, that your return is going to come slower than and it's going to be less risky than if you buy something with a market cap under 1 billion.
Sure.
Because it'll take more money to move the price of that token.
Yeah, this is like part of my homework, just engaging in this conversation, because I mean, frankly, I can relate to anyone out there who at the outset doesn't really have the stomach for diving into it and researching it and really giving it the intellectual rigor. And I think I've been fortunate enough to find someone, like you said, the personalities or the associations or entities that you trust that are associated with the project, that I started there, and be it an NFT or a specific cryptocurrency, that's kind of what vaulted me into the space. And now I kind of need to retroactively do the work to understand the technology and the blockchain and the implications. So I mean, I would also just say, like, whatever your access point is or wherever your starting place is, just kind of like own it. Like, and I told you this earlier, even when it comes to the NFT, like, if the long play doesn't work out, I've already made peace with, like, if I get punched in the mouth, I get punched in the mouth. I just made a very firm decision to invest.
Start playing.
Yeah,
right.
Which, I mean, it's risky, and I mean, without making it good or bad, it's ignorant. Like, if I'm doing it in the absence of knowledge and facts. But, you know, you can also decide, like, I'm going to use $100 to play around with and learn through moving it rather than reading the papers. And I guess, disclaimer, like, none of this is financial advice. I'm just trying to, like, work through my own process, and
we'll put the text in the comments.
It's a really hard mental agreement to have, and, you know, you can say it, that doesn't mean you truly believe it.
Yeah.
But the best strategy is to only invest money that you're willing to lose.
That you don't mind it going zero.
That was the first thing I was told. Yeah, it's a good call.
And one little note I do.
It's true.
Oh, go for it. I'll let you.
No, I'm just saying it's really true. Like, if you have, because that allows you to have no emotional attachment. So if you decide to trade it into Bitcoin while Ethereum's up, or, you know, let it sit, or if it goes under, like right now, most of my investments are under. Luckily, I took some profits while we were still up, you know, but nobody told me to do that. I kind of got lucky, like a little bit of market research and a little bit of luck, but, like, you know, and I'm playing with more money than I'm willing to lose, though. But
I can relate a little bit, yeah.
If you are playing with money you're willing to lose, then you're less emotional about the decisions you make, and you're willing to be patient when you're down.
Yeah, that's for sure.
100%. So I'm just going to add a little, and this is just food for thought, right? This is not financial advice, but one thing I'm doing moving forward is I'm treating my investments into crypto like a Roth IRA. Instead of doing the traditional Roth IRA, I decided to take 50% of my pay every month and automatically transfer it every Friday through Swan, which is an interesting platform. I don't mean to shout them out. I should probably put the link in the comments or something like that, but they have cheaper fees than Coinbase, and they allow you to automate a process where you can take a master public key for an Electrum Bitcoin wallet, and it'll automatically, every withdrawal, it creates a new public address. So every time that bank transfer goes through every Friday, my approach behind this is to not get caught up in what price I buy it in at. To be consistent. By being consistent, you buy the ups and the downs. And long term, you're going to win. Rather than being worried, selling all your chips, going back in, blah, blah, blah. Like, Robinhood's great, but I think it gives too much access, and it enables too much short-term thinking and regretful thinking and decisions.
No control.
That's just my opinion. Exactly.
And for people who are not educated, if you buy your crypto on Venmo or PayPal or Robinhood or Webull,
can you withdraw it? Can you put it in your own wallet?
Yeah,
you don't
no
own
ownership.
it unless you can withdraw it to an external wallet.
Yeah,
you don't own it. It's better on Coinbase and Uphold and
Gemini
and other places where you can actually transfer it out. But technically, while it's at the exchange, you still don't own it. You have the ability to take custody of it, but it's still in the custody of the exchange. And that's why I tell no one to buy it from Robinhood unless you know you plan to sell it. But even then, there's no if you think it all out, there's no reason to hold it there, because you'd be better off holding your Bitcoin and Ethereum in something like what's that? There's the name is escaping me, but there's a lot of DeFi options that are super safe. Like you can get 8% interest on stable coins.
Oh, like BlockFi or
BlockFi.
Yeah, that's one of them.
But there's also a ton of other DeFi options. So like, there's no reason to hold it in Robinhood or anything like Venmo or PayPal.
Yeah. I'm going to be doing some videos on this. I actually already pre-recorded one, but how to create your own My Ether wallet. Ethereum-based wallet. It allows you to store all these other tokens and really manage everything. So I want to do a video on how to create a seed-based wallet for kind of hot spare, and then how to create a cold storage. So I forgot to switch it back. We need a streamcaster so I automatically switch that. Scott's looking at me in the background.
I have to jump off in just a minute or so.
Sure.
But how should we wrap it up? This was fun.
This was a fun impromptu. Like we'll make sure we do some scheduled ones and we can go really in depth on some topics. Like we form our topics based off of the talk. So we'll come up with a topic after this.
But that makes sense.
Cool. Do you want to plug anything? Give you the floor. Do you got to say anything to anybody watching? Any future viewers watching?
Sure. My channels are Wannabe a VFriend on Instagram. Jeremy Knows is a podcast on everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify.
Yeah, don't sleep on that.
If you can join our Discord. If you find the Instagram, the links to my Discord are there. And I would say if you're not familiar with this world and you want to get into it, join the VFriends Discord, because there's literally 100,000 people in there who are willing to help answer questions for people who
we're going to put everything in the description for sure.
Yeah,
thank you.
Just be a part of the community. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, just get some exposure.
So Scott wants to jump in and say what's up. Yeah, he got back, and I guess he wants to say goodbye.
Hey, Jeremy, I just want to say thank you. I wasn't feeling well earlier, so I jumped off, but I appreciate you being on.
I saw.
Okay, good.
You heard him bang on the door getting back in.
Yeah, I took a walk. My stomach's feeling a little better. But yeah, great to have you on, man.
Yeah, thanks again, Jeremy.
Dude, always. Well, I'll see you on another one, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Yep, have a good rest of your day.
Peace, brother.
Peace out,
thanks, man.
Good
Later.
to see you.
Well, You want to come back in, Scott?
Jump in for
So
the sign off.
Hey, so
take off?
do we want to summarize? Is there anything
jumping.
we want to mention before we close it out? I know we've been recording for a while.
Yeah, not bad though.
Actually, only 1.3 hours. Not bad at all.
1.3.
Yeah, 133. Yeah, what? Our first one, shockingly enough, I think it was 1 hour 12 minutes.
Yeah, we were definitely went over an hour
because we were like,
we had no idea we talked for that long.
What's your like internal calculus for not wanting to exceed
my
that time
thing is
frame?
that I just kind of want to generally, if I'm going to watch a video, if it's over 15 30 minutes,
Yeah.
I don't have time to watch that entire thing. So something at an hour is like you have to set a special time aside to watch it. So I try to keep, I would like for not all of them, of course, like this has gone over, but for the most part, keep it around 30, 45 minutes. So you can, gain, watch it for a bit, gain that knowledge that you might be interested on, and then hang on if you're that invested for the later stuff, because I think it's hard to allot a full hour of your time to watch a show. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you depending on what you guys plan on doing with the content that's produced here,
right?
Like I'm personally big on seeing the conversation through. So if we land on something that merits that 2-hour deep dive, or we go down the rabbit hole, so let's say we limit ourselves to 35 minutes.
I'm not saying limit. I'm just trying to say more. It's because it's not a hard stop.
Yeah.
But just try to keep in mind that you are using. I mean, if we're live streaming, people are watching us live, right? And they don't want to miss anything because we went over what's the expected allotted amount of time. And that's my only thinking. I think it was great that Jeremy jumped on. You guys probably. I was walking my dog, walking my stomach ache off for a bit, but you guys probably hit on some really cool topics that we wouldn't have had either. Otherwise,
And some topics I have a feeling we're going to get into right now, because I will add on to that. I personally would love to record as long as possible. I respect that perspective, because
let's
as
workshop
a viewer,
this. Let's
check
figure
this
it out.
out.
Yeah.
As a viewer, anytime I come across a video that's really fucking long, unless I love that person, Gary V is the only daily V that I've only watched one show longer than 2 hours. And it was Gary V's.
It's got to be
content,
really
right?
good for me to watch that long.
But here's the benefit of this long form video.
Yeah.
We'll be able to pull this apart and pick it apart for weeks, if not months of content.
That's true.
I wish I could move the camera. I have Gary V's content model, his PDF he released, the very front page of it. He goes into depth on how they pick apart content. He released it for the fucking public. What a gangster.
Yeah.
Legacy. I have it posted up there to remind me, long form, then have your process to pick apart the short form.
Right.
You
And
guys
that
haven't
makes
witnessed
sense,
too
but
much
we
of
don't
it,
have a video editor.
I
So
know,
once
but it's
you want to
better.
get a video editor on board and pull apart hours to hour long segments,
I'm gonna do.
that's fine.
That's gonna be no
But
problem.
right now we don't have that established.
Doesn't mean we can't do the recording, because then we'll have the content.
That's something to talk about later.
So this is a potato
Fight about it.
moment. You can't figure out how
I want to
spell
get
that
into
shit.
it now.
I know, my bad. We keep cutting you off, man. Let's hear your thoughts.
Well, yeah, I mean, my thought, and I'll try to make it concise, is that do you really lose anything by going longer? Like, if their attention is only going to be...
That's spoken by someone who's not going to have to edit it. That's because
I will
no. I'm saying that it does make sense if you plan on editing your videos. This is more to just, and this is me just talking.
So I see what you're saying.
This is more about getting it up now.
No post-production.
Right, and no post-production, because we're not cutting snippets. So people's attention, and this is not to anyone in the audience or whatever, but generally it will fall off over time.
Oh, yeah.
And so you won't get to those nuggets because we're not sharing those. We're not actually cutting it down and sharing it yet.
Yeah.
But to your point,
Yeah.
create a ton of content, and then when you're actually at that editing point, that's amazing, because then you can use content across all different channels, and you can take a segment for Twitter, a segment for Instagram, and vary it, because you have so much content to use. But right now we're not editing, and if we were editing, I think it's a great idea to have more content cut down. But I'm afraid that our main message, or even some good stuff that you guys were talking about, might get missed because it's so far down the timeline. That's my only thinking.
I get the whole. So I get it. I respect the perspective. However, I think long form. I don't know. This is gonna be one of those things where we agree to disagree.
It's gonna be something that we're gonna agree to disagree on until we get an editor.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I've already started to create a what's it called, composition or scenes within Adobe.
That's my job to
Premiere Pro.
worry, and then you to put out my worry.
Don't you worry. No, you actually worry less. Worry less. So I'm gonna drop some knowledge, something I keep reminding Scott of.
Yeah.
That's
I know
why
what you're
I
gonna
wanted
say.
to really butt heads here on this topic.
Yeah.
Don't use your energy to worry. Use your energy to believe. Don't use your energy
Right.
to worry.
Let's
use
go.
your energy to believe.
Yeah.
So instead of worrying that it's going to be too long, believe that
Don't
no
use
matter
your
how
energy to
long
shake
it's
the
going
camera.
believe that no matter how long the video is, it's positive. Net positive, ROI
right.
positive.
Right.
And you can't manufacture backwards whatever topic that would come out of that extra 20 minutes. Like the way that we would have approached a certain topic, the way that it comes out, if it's magical and compelling, then people will stay. So it's more about the merit of the content.
That's true.
Agree to disagree. It's gonna be because I know that content is good, but we're not cutting it up.
So let's back it up here.
Okay.
I love this debate. This is great.
Everyone's
So,
like,
let's
who's
back it
gonna
up.
win?
So
Who's gonna?
Ben and I, we
Yeah,
met
yeah.
at a V Friends meetup, right?
Sure.
We come from a background of Gary preaching, not only preaching, but leading by example and showing people the right way to create content at scale is to start with long form.
And this is where we vary because you guys are
I
very
would
much
love to
Gary
have
V,
Gary
and I
on
am
this-
not.
Well, this is what
and I'm
trying
different.
to
I'm a different
explain
type of
to
creative.
the audience.
Okay.
Though. This is what I'm trying to explain to
Yeah.
anybody questioning why we're arguing or having a debate.
Yeah, why you guys want the
We're
more
more
long
so
form and everything.
we come from a different perspective of somebody we follow and trust,
Mm-hmm.
and I have built part of my business from his freaking vlogs and his 4Ds. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing how much content he gives away for free.
Yeah.
That advice of long form first is fucking brilliant, and nothing will ever change my mind.
Yeah.
I get your concern and your worry, but you also, and for the audience's context, right? For you to have context, he comes from a background of sitting behind a computer screen, editing his photos for hours on end into 4 in the morning.
Post-production is
So
huge for
when
me,
he
and
thinks of
production in
post-production,
general.
it's a negative comment. Like
No,
little
no,
bit,
no.
right?
Now he's putting words into my head. It's not negative. It's
why,
I know the
why
time.
is there such a big
I know the time that goes
Yeah.
into it,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
know people's viewership. I've worked in front of the camera for a
Sorry,
long
I
time.
was kind of spitting.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is a great debate because anyone who's watching
No,
this
this
is
is
like,
a
yes.
great, and
but
I can't wait to hear Ben's
but
thoughts.
Yeah, got it.
and I know where you guys are coming from. I fully get it. The Gary V model, right? Talk out of your ass until something comes out that's good.
You don't
But
talk out
I'm
of your
not.
ass.
Take everything
You
I
don't
say.
talk-
Take everything I say with a grain of salt because we're not talking out of our ass. But you know what I mean.
So what-
talk until you get a nugget of truth. But eventually, I would like to have those nuggets of truth prearranged so we don't have to discover them. We know what we're talking about. We know the nuggets we're sitting on,
But the
and that's
best nuggets are
created
discovered through collaboration and discussion.
off screen. And we bring that, and we bring more value by not
So,
just going through things.
You
Sometimes
wanna,
it's good.
You want to go through, and this.
I
is,
think
I'm
that
just
it's
trying to
both.
pick
I
your
think that
brain, though.
honestly, it's a mesh of both worlds.
But that
And-
method, though, it's like what you're saying. If we don't capture it, what's to know we're going to actually capture it?
We have these conversations-
So we talk about these conversations off screen where
Right.
we're going to actually miss some fucking golden
Oh, we
nuggets.
will, and we have like
You know what I mean?
even from when you came here and you guys were just chatting. I don't
Yeah.
think we even touched on whatever that was because we can't really backtrack to that.
Sure.
And while I get the merit of what you're saying, I think that it's balanced too, because you can have too much content. You can have too much content.
So
It
the
is a thing.
perspective
So
that-
Gary, we'd love to have you on the show to actually tell him that statement isn't
Watch Gary
entirely-
actually come on just to tell me.
I have a
that.
feeling he will.
Oh my god.
Well,
We
so-
already called him out for 55.
I want
let's
to
give
make
Ben the floor.
make
Sorry,
my
we've
own
been
stance.
kinda-
Well,
yeah.
it's like I don't necessarily want to be put in the camp of like I'm sourcing this from a Gary V perspective. For me, it's more of a personal one where. So because creating content for me, especially on the outset, is going to be more about the expression and the experience, right? It's not tethered to viewership or the numbers yet. Like I really want to front end something like if I make my approach too tactical, if it's tactical about like how long does it have to be and what is going to drive the most numbers, then I'm going to go to a place that makes that experience less fun or less authentic. And so it's important to enroll that. But for me, it's a question of when. And for you guys, it sounds like a question of how much, like the balance, like how I want to be able to afford what's possible within a long form conversation. And where you're coming from, it's how much, like, where is that sweet spot where we can kind of
fully understand what you're saying. I really do. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And I think that it's just different points where I'm at and where I create and what I produce and where you're at and where you create and what you produce. Because you're still trying to sort of find your voice. And I'm trying to find my voice with this, but I do have a voice in my photography and other art. And so I think that maybe for you, it's a bit more experimental. And don't get me wrong, but you're also just getting into creative aspect of things, right?
Yeah.
So for you guys, it's a bit different where you're sort of
start our own podcast.
Finding, oh my god, you kicked off sidearm, guys.
He's out. No, continue though, because I want to finish that.
And I think that it's good to have both sides. Perspectives are great, right? Because I'm looking from this window and you're looking from your window, and we both can kind of mesh those ideas. So it's not a bad thing to debate this, to talk about this subject, whether creating more content or less content that's more manicured.
Yeah.
I think that they both have their place, I think. And so maybe it's taking both of them, finding some nice marriage between that. And maybe it is like the long form, but you do cut it up because once we have an editor, then you cut it into segments that are more digestible.
Yeah, don't worry about the editor.
Are you willing
don't worry about the editor.
Because maybe this is a good opportunity to talk about what.
I'm not gonna worry. Not worried one bit.
I'm sorry. I just had to give him that little zinger.
One of the things that we were talking about before was my approach to the content I'm creating. I'll just ask the question before getting into that story, is like, would you be willing to create a separate container to experiment with the long form thing? Like, maybe you can keep this exactly what it is and still allow room and space to, like, once a week or once every 2 weeks,
and maybe
play
this
with both.
So because this is recorded on a DSLR, we have all this professional equipment or whatever. This is the more curated, manicured thing, and then maybe you go full Gary Vee style. Use your phone on IG Live or Twitter Spaces.
I fully
or whatever.
intend on it,
and that's the like how Jeremy does it. Honestly, he doesn't have any real like production to it. He's just it's him and his ideas.
From what I understand.
No, but he has his style, and that's like that really works on like the Twitter Spaces and the IG Live. Like it's wonderful, or like Clubhouse. You know, that long form actually really lends itself to those type of, I don't know, ways to convey your story.
Yeah, get data from the actual doing of the thing, and if it's just a matter of like how often you do it, so it's not over like a burden and like drives that editor in your mind who has the awareness of what the like labor implications are for that. Like if you can decide this much we can play with, then maybe occasionally it's like, all right, we're just going to open end the time on this one and see where it goes once a week or once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
Let some magic happen.
You know what's funny about today? I mean, today's a special day. He's passing through town. Scott?
No, actually, I decided I'm staying.
I'm
moving in.
He's a part of the podcast now. It's official.
Scott just made his first work of art in a unique application, which he kind of formed himself. I mean, and I've had some revelations myself that I can't speak on publicly. But
this guy, a man of mystery.
Yeah, A77. You know what's crazy? Episode 7, our last interview with Silva, JN Silva. Right? Did I say that right?
Yeah,
JN Silva.
JN.
JN Silva _ I think is his tag.
On Twitter.
So I don't think he announced this publicly, but it was our episode number 7.
Oh, yeah.
He was on it as an interview, and he's like, "Actually, I've been working on this project since March or something like that. We keep delaying it because the perfectionist in us. We're launching it 7/7. We're like, no fucking shit.
What a
That's
number!
A special day for us too, you know. And then on
choose.
episode 7 to tie it all together.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a numbers guy.
No, this is
a numbers guy. So
somebody's got to be the numbers guy.
Right?
I think most of us aren't.
I'm a numbers guy, but I'm not an accountant.
I
have accountants,
clear,
but I do not know because that's
you believe in the meaning of numbers.
You know what I mean? I believe in the spiritual meaning.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling we either find an outro or just one last topic to vibe on, but I'm feeling pretty good.
Let's all just duke it out right here,
I'm
WrestleMania
pretty
style.
Good.
Just slam.
We ended it with a nice debate.
Will end you.
Let's have some closing thoughts on today's topic.
Keep Tums in the office.
Keep
So
tongues
then-
in the office. So this is Scott's 2 cents.
Okay.
He could have said anything he wanted to say, but this is what he's going to
It
say.
took me out of
so,
the
no, that's
show.
okay.
It took me out
That's
of
his 2
me,
cents, right?
you know?
I like the
tongues.
topics of just discovering what belonging means to you and,
Yes.
and getting out into the world and just being willing to discover little moments that light you up or to learn something new. Just go play. Start with something small. Emotion, enterprise, kind of having some sense of identity around how you invest or look at new projects. Like everything's happening so fast, and I think grounding yourself in how you're willing to approach it was a good. We touched on some great things. So yeah, that's kind of my takeaway there.
I like it. I'm going to drop it. We're going to end this with...
Wait, can I actually say a real one before you actually end it?
Oh, yeah, no. He gets the end.
Yeah, the end, the real
yeah.
end, the plugs.
But you got to
wait,
also
I
understand
have a
this
serious
podcast
one.
isn't live yet, so
Yeah.
we're gonna down the road. We're
Yeah.
gonna then go back and edit.
Oh,
and
you'll
make
be back
this
on.
podcast, and he'll be back
sure.
on.
Duke it out
for
again.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm
ready.
We'll have
The
a
only
video
one's
editor
Duke
by
it.
that time. Hey, we'll have like a celebrity like death match type thing once eventually we
We'll get
get
on.
Gary
It
on here.
will be cool.
Gary on here's gonna be like, long form is better, motherfucker.
Well, just even to like come back a year into
Oh, Scott,
your
you've got a lot to
project,
learn.
like to go back, like you'll clip this
Does he
conversation.
not use that word? Yeah,
No,
sorry.
no,
Sorry, go ahead.
you gotta stop cutting off Ben here.
I might be trying a little too hard. Like I should let you guys just
Go
get
for
gas
it.
out real quick. But
Yeah.
like a year from now, you
Yeah.
know, seeing the crossfire and then coming back and like saying like, man, this is what I learned, and to see where you guys have landed and what this podcast is.
Yeah.
Maybe it has
gonna be
leaned
funny
more
to
long
say, I
form.
told you
Maybe it's
so.
all polished and tight. These quick 20-minute episodes. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
Sorry.
That'll be cool.
That's
We'll
the
see.
competitive nature in me. I
Yeah.
have to say, it's gonna be like I don't want to say I told you so, but
That's good.
We're gonna go back and we're gonna be like, hey, look, remember we said we need an editor and we got an editor?
yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so I was gonna give you my closing thoughts here.
No, wait, because I want to say something serious before just Tums.
Okay. Oh, so you're actually?
I'm
gonna be
actually
serious.
gonna-
So
yeah.
we're gonna do one more round, ladies and gentlemen. This is a.
You thought we were so
You
close.
thought we were
We're
done, but
so
we are
close.
not done.
I got you.
Remember when
So-
I was like,
I'm gonna
1
save
hour,
mine
1
so I don't
hour.
have to repeat myself.
Okay.
You know?
yeah,
Let's
save
go
it.
for it. Let's go back to
Mine's
Mr.
short,
Tums
mine's short
over
and
here.
sweet. Mine's short and sweet. Don't be afraid to take a different path.
Okay.
You know, we all walk our own
I
paths,
like that.
and know that when you choose a different direction, don't be afraid. Just kind of throw yourself into it, and the universe works itself out. That's generally my rule of advice, I guess, when you're trying new things.
Yeah.
Just get the best out of it. Learn what you can.
You can always change your mind.
Can?
That's true.
Yep.
It's never too late.
What's good? Closing thoughts.
Yeah. Closing thoughts.
I'm happy with
Oh,
what I said
you're happy
before.
with what you said?
Yeah.
So, unbridled curiosity. I know we said that earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know, for any of you who have kids, I know you see it, kids in certain ages, you see this curiosity about them. Try to harness that. Try to incorporate that. Try to think about how to incorporate unbridled curiosity into your lives and see the effect that it has. I'm definitely going to be incorporating it into my agreements based off of this chat, and I look forward to digging a little deeper down the road, whether it's on Bitmonkey TV or another podcast. So I hope those closing thoughts help, and hope they were valuable.
Yeah.
First and foremost, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks
well,
for sticking around with us.
And Ben,
Yeah.
thanks for stopping by
Yeah, this
and
guy.
being a guest.
Love it.
Hell yeah. No, it's so
Come
good
in.
to meet you guys.
Yeah.
I learned so much from this experience. If anyone is still watching,
Yeah, I think somebody
We'll
is.
see. I think we got a viewer or two.
Yeah.
or if this gets...
Ooh, what's up, guys?
Hey guys,
Yeah.
well, if you're interested in what I'm doing or what's coming down the pipeline, currently my Instagram handle is @adventureonthedaily. That's probably the best hub
Is
to
that
start right
is that across all socials?
It
Mainly.
is
Instagram?
not. I'm working on the branding thing. Start there. I'll start making announcements and like once.
Wait, is that Instagram or Twitter? Or?
Just Instagram
Okay,
right now
cool.
is probably
Just
the
so you
best place to start for announcements, and then as kind of the branding levels out and gets figured out, you'll know, and I can't wait to hook up with you guys again.
Yeah.
Most
Best of luck on your
Part
journey,
2.
dude. Yeah. We'll come
best
on
of
to your
luck.
come on to your
Safe
vlog.
travels.
Oh, hell yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah, you guys are
And
guests
the floor,
for
you
sure.
guys are going to see
We'll meet
him
you in your van
probably
somewhere.
record 1 or 2 on his own show using this backdrop. So studio's always here to use.
True. Yeah.
So looking forward to it.
All
Hope
right.
you guys have a great day.
Let's sign out.
Thanks for
Bitmonkey
tuning
TV. Let's
That's
go.
mimic